The final sacrifice death might save Bo Brady's life, and what that means for Salem's future. The rumors are swirling that John Black, beloved Salem hero and cornerstone of the show for over 3 decades, is about to make his final exit. But it's not just that he dies, it's how he may die and why that's shaking Salem to its core and leaving fans in tears. A whisper of hope, could John save Bo? We begin with a rumor, but not just any rumor. A shocking, gut-wrenching possibility, that John Black will die so Bo Brady can live. Yes, you read that right. Bo, long thought lost to a tragic coma after being accidentally shot by his own son Sean, has now been brought home to hope under the worst of circumstances. What was supposed to be a moment of long-awaited reunion has turned into a fight for survival. Kayla's voice trembled as she revealed that Bo wasn't just recovering. He was battling sepsis, a dangerous, rapidly progressing infection that could result in multiple organ failure. With no guarantee of recovery, hope is once again being pulled into a nightmare she thought was behind her. But just when the clouds of despair were beginning to settle thick over Salem, whispers of a miracle began to circulate. Could someone, anyone, save Bo? And then the theory emerged, first in hushed corners of soap forums, and now gaining traction in wider fan circles. John Black might be the one to save Bo, by giving his life to do it. The tragic poetry of it all. Let's take a step back. Drake Hodgson, the man behind the character of John Black, has been a pillar of days of our lives for decades. From secret agents to devoted husband, from long-lost identities to shocking returns from the dead, John has been through it all. He is as Salem as the Brady pub, as familiar as the Horton Christmas tree. And yet, as recent rumors and behind-the-scenes commentary confirm, Drake's time with the show is ending. Whether due to personal health, creative direction, or a combination of both, the show must now say goodbye to the man, and the legend, who helped define a generation of days. But this goodbye might be unlike any other. The writers, now led by co-head scribes Paula Quickly and Jean-Marie Ford, have suggested that John's death isn't just an event, it's a storyline catalyst. His farewell, they revealed, would dovetail with the long-anticipated reunion of Bo and Hope. And now, the clues seem to fall into place. If John is indeed in critical condition, possibly battling cancer, as some believe the hospital scenes with Drake Hodgson are mirroring, then perhaps, in one final act of courage and love, he offers to donate his organs. An experimental treatment is already underway for Bo, involving a new and mysterious physician, Dr. Russell, who claims to have a solution beyond antibiotics. But if the infection has already spread beyond repair, Bo may require an organ transplant. And who better to step forward in silence and dignity, to save a fellow brother in arms, than John Black? The scene we deserve, and need. Let's be honest. Losing John off-screen, in a rushed goodbye, would be a slap in the face to fans who have stood by his side for decades. Thankfully, the show appears to be leaning toward a more poetic, heartbreaking send-off. Imagine this: Marlena, the love of John's life, by his hospital bedside, her eyes filled with tears, knowing that their love story is reaching its final chapter. Roman, Steve, Kayla, all surrounding him with love and gratitude. A hero's farewell, not in battle, but in sacrifice. And somewhere down the hall, Bo's monitors begin to stabilize, a flicker of hope shining through the despair. And while John's physical body may pass, his spirit, and possibly, his literal heart, lives on in Bo. What an ending. What a legacy. Mourning and Miracles Tuesday's scenes with Julie and Maggie were not just filler, they were a warning. A foreshadowing. As the two grieved their own past losses, they also reflected on Hope's anguish. The writers are not simply building suspense, they're preparing us emotionally. The grief in Salem is about to deepen, but it may also bring about a miracle. Fans have often said that Days of Our Lives thrives in its darkest hours. And they're right. The pain we endure with these characters makes the moments of triumph all the more meaningful. If Bo lives, truly lives, thanks to John's sacrifice, it will be the kind of bittersweet story that defines soap history. A life well lived. If this is indeed the end for John Black, there is comfort in knowing that his death will not be in vain. A hero to the last breath, he will have given the ultimate gift. Bo's second chance at life, and his future with hope, will be born from John's final act of love. There is, perhaps, no better way to say goodbye to a man who has spent his entire days of our lives saving others. As Sierra and Sean cry beside their father's bed, perhaps they will know in their hearts that a part of John, a friend, a father figure, a symbol of strength, is still with them. And Marlena, though shattered, will know she loved a man who never stopped being a hero, even in death. Are we ready for this? Of course not. But if we must lose John Black, let it be like this. Let it be grand, noble, and unforgettable. And as we prepare for the heartbreaking scenes to come, with tissues at the ready, we do so not in despair, but in reverence. For a character who gave us everything, and then gave us one last gift. Next, Tuesday, April 29, 2025. A tense dinner, a brewing storm, and the price of secrets in Salem. On this poignant Tuesday in Salem, the tension was as thick as the spring air outside the Brady pub, where love, loyalty, and looming betrayal danced across the faces of those trying to keep their lives from unraveling. For Sarah and Xander, what began as a peaceful dinner between partners quickly revealed itself as a fragile attempt to hold their world together, even as it teeters on the edge of truth and consequence. Dinner for two, secrets for three. Sarah Horton and Xander Cook sat together in the dim, familiar comfort of the Brady pub, a rare moment of stillness for a couple whose lives have been anything but. Between raising their daughter Victoria and managing the chaos of a business world riddled with power struggles, this dinner was meant to be a reprieve. But for Xander, the shadows looming over their table weren't just from the flickering candlelight. They were the lingering presence of Philip Kyriakis and the secret that continues to fester between them. As Xander picked at his food, the weight of unspoken words pulled heavily on his conscience. Eventually, he confessed what had been gnawing at him. He didn't want to run into Philip tomorrow. Not because of awkward office politics or sibling rivalry, but because the truth, the full, ugly truth of what Philip has done, is becoming too big to contain. And they, for now, are stuck sharing power as co-COS of Titan. I don't like lying, Xander muttered, his voice low but resolute. He knows all too well that lies, no matter how noble the intent, have a way of rotting everything from the inside out. If the truth about Philip's past misdeeds were to emerge later, it wouldn't just harm the company's reputation, it could destroy it. Better to be honest now, he said. Better to rip off the bandage before infection sets in. Sarah's face stiffened. She didn't yell. She didn't protest. Instead, she looked at him with the quiet sadness of a woman caught between love and fear. The truth may be necessary, but it would bring destruction in its wake, not just for Titan, but for their already delicate family. Still, to her credit, Sarah didn't use empty promises. She didn't pretend she'd tell the truth for him. Instead, she met him in that murky middle ground, reminding him that he made the choices he did to protect what matters most. His family. A dream of escape, and a promise of forever before they parted ways to face the responsibilities that awaited them. Xander, ever the romantic when it comes to Sarah, softened the mood with a simple but powerful question. What do you think about Bali? It wasn't a spontaneous whim. It was a promise long overdue, a honeymoon that had been delayed amid crisis after crisis. Their first anniversary was only months away, and despite the storm surrounding them, Xander was determined to give Sarah the escape she deserved. She had stood beside him through turmoil, carried burdens he wished he could bear alone, and never once wavered. She was his anchor. His strength. His heart. The mention of Bali lit a spark in Sarah's eyes. It was more than just a destination. It was a chance, however brief. To feel like a couple in love again, not just battle-worn partners in damage control. With a gentle smile, she told him that he and Victoria were her world. Every sacrifice, every hard decision, it was all for them. As they said their goodbyes for the evening, there was tenderness in her words, but also something unsaid, something left hovering between them. The weight of the secret they both carried, and the fear of what it might cost them. Confrontation at Titan. The brothers clash, but love and whispered dreams couldn't keep the pressure from building for long. Later that evening, in the cold and clinical confines of his office at Titan, Xander came face to face with the man who had been haunting his every step, Philip Kyriakis. Philip arrived, as usual, with his blend of arrogance and half-hearted remorse. He tried again, another apology, another attempt to smooth things over with hollow words. But Xander wasn't buying it anymore. The apology didn't land. It didn't even make a dent. And so Philip cut to the chase. "I'm still co-CEO, he said, his tone dripping with entitlement. "And I'm not going anywhere." It was a challenge, plain and simple. A dare masked as a statement of fact. Philip knew that Xander wouldn't make a move against him, at least not yet, because of how crucial the ongoing Titan takeover deal was. A misstep, a scandal, or a fracture in leadership could ruin everything. Philip was betting on that. He was counting on Xander's loyalty to the company to keep him safe. For now, it's working. But Philip may be overplaying his hand. Because while Xander may be biding his time, the fire in his eyes says one thing clearly: his patience is running out. The truth is clawing its way to the surface, and when it breaks free, it won't just damage Philip, it may obliterate him. And when that happens, no corporate title will be enough to protect him from the fallout. Looking ahead. How long can the lies hold? As Salem sleeps tonight, the drama unfolding behind closed doors at Titan continues to intensify. The fragile peace between brothers is splintering. The bond between lovers is being tested. And the truth is ticking like a time bomb. For Sarah and Xander, the road ahead is uncertain. Will they hold strong as a couple, or will the weight of corporate betrayal and personal sacrifice pull them apart? And for Philip, how long can he remain shielded from consequences? One thing is certain: the truth always finds a way out. And in Salem, when it does, it never leaves anyone unscathed.